Hey guys, my name is Yuvraj. Welcome to my channel Technology Zone. I hope all of you are doing absolutely fine. First of all, a very big thank you to all of you to support my channel and showing so much love towards my channel. As I always say, Technology Zone is not only my channel, it is yours channel. So it is my utmost responsibility to test a product before recommending it to you. So today I'm having Samsung Galaxy F62. As you know, I've been using this phone with my primary Airtel SIM for a couple of weeks now. So today this is the full in-depth review of Samsung Galaxy F62. So I will divide this review between pros and the cons. What are the good things and what are the bad things? So let us start with the pros first. Now let us talk about the design and build quality. Polycarbonate back, very easy to hold, and obviously due to the polycarbonate the weight seems in control, though it's a heavy phone, 218 grams, but that's due to the battery of 7000 mAh, which I will talk in the later part of the video. But since it's a polycarbonate, it is not easy to break considering glass is very prone to cracks. Now next is let us talk about the port options and the memory card option. This phone has a dedicated memory card option with dual nano SIM card facility, and it also has a headphone jack with Dolby Atmos support, so your audio experience through the wired headphones will be fantastic because a proper dedicated Dolby support is there in Samsung Galaxy F62. Now let us talk about the buttons. And regarding the buttons, they are very tactile. It gives a very tactile feedback once you click this power on off button or the fingerprint button. The fingerprint button is embedded in the right hand side of the phone, though in spite of having a AMOLED screen, Samsung has provided a physical fingerprint scanner in the right hand side of Samsung Galaxy F62. Now let us talk about another highlighting aspect which I think is a very important thing of this mobile, that is this gorgeous vivid display. This is 6.67 inch Super AMOLED Plus panel from Samsung. Obviously we all know Samsung panels are always very good, inky blacks, vibrant colors. This display obviously has Corning Gorilla Glass 3 protection, though I would have loved to see Corning Gorilla Glass 5 on it, but since it has some protection in it, and it has Widevine L1 support for your media experience, means you can watch your favorite content in HD platform in Amazon. Obviously it has HDR10 support, so whenever there is an HDR10 any content in your mobile in any social media platforms like Amazon Prime or Netflix, this phone will support it and you will love the media consumption experience through Samsung Galaxy F62. Now let us talk about the brightness, because Samsung panels are generally very bright, so it's an average 420 nits of brightness in indoor conditions, and when we go outside in harsh sunlight it goes up to 650 nits of brightness. Don't go by the numbers because these days some Redmi phones comes with 200 nits of brightness, but Samsung panels are always very bright and they will give sufficient amount of brightness once you go outside. Now let us talk about the highlighting aspect which Samsung has marketed so much, that is the processor. Samsung Galaxy F62 comes with flagship 7nm based Exynos 9825 processor. This is a 7nm based processor. It has 8 cores, 2 custom cores, 4 powerful Cortex A75 cores and 2 battery management Cortex A55 cores. This 7nm core saves a lot of battery, though this is a Super AMOLED Plus panel, so the battery consumption obviously will be less than an IPS LCD panel. And this processor handles, though in spite of being a 2-year-old processor, it can handle all the regular tasks. Whenever you throw anything at it, this phone will handle it quite magnificently because it has a horsepower of a flagship processor. When we throw a flagship processor in a mid-range phone, obviously the performance will be good. I don't say that it will be as good as 865 or 888 these days, but this processor can be comparable with Snapdragon 855 and 855 Plus, so you can understand the powerhouse of this processor. And if you want to know about any benchmark, means if you are fascinated by the numbers, then this phone in AnTuTu scores approximately around 3.5 lakhs. In Geekbench in single score it will score around 780, and in multi-core it will score around 1900. So if you are fascinated by the benchmark scores, these are the scores for you. Now let us talk about another important thing, which is the connectivity and the sensors. This phone has all the sensors possible: dual 4G, dual VoLTE, dual Wi-Fi calling. It supports dual Wi-Fi support, 2.4 as well as 5 GHz support, all the possible sensors, because since it's a flagship processor, Samsung has not cut down any corners in the sensors. It has provided light sensor, auto brightness, proximity, pedometer, gyroscope, compass, as well as NFC support. You name any sensor is present in the Samsung Galaxy F62. Now let us talk about another connectivity feature which all of you want to know. This phone does not support 5G. I'm very sorry to say, Samsung Galaxy F62 does not come 5G support. It has 4G. However, carrier aggregation, that is 4G plus, is not present though. Now let us talk about the software. Any phone to perform brilliantly, it should have a synchronization of hardware as well as software. Samsung Galaxy F62 comes One UI 3.1 right out of the box with Android 11. So you are getting the greatest and the best from both Samsung world as well as the Google itself. So it has all the features of Samsung One UI 3.1, which I already made a video. I will drop down all the links of the video in the description box. I made One UI feature video. I also made a camera comparison. I made a dedicated FAQ video. So you can, after watching this video, you can check all those videos if you want to get any further information. So right now in this video, I want to just tell One UI 3.1 is preloaded with a host of features like Samsung full-fledged Samsung Pay with NFC, edge lighting support, good lock support, Alt Z Live, blue light filter, dual support for apps like WhatsApp and Facebook. So it is flooded with features. You need to just find out which features you want. Though in spite of packing so many features, I think One UI 3.1 is the most polished interface from Samsung yet. Now let me talk about the ad scenario. Many of you have asked me that whether this phone has ads or not. Let me be very frank with you. When you are setting up this phone, don't set up using your Samsung ID. Just using your Google ID will not give you any ads in this phone. If you use any Samsung ID, then you might see some ads and receive spammy notifications from Samsung specific apps like Samsung Notes, Samsung Calendar, Samsung Weather app. And regarding the bloatware present while setting up the phone, I came across a lot of bloatware, to be very honest, like PhonePe, like Chingari, Microsoft apps, Facebook, Netflix, but luckily all of them are can be uninstallable. And also there are Samsung apps which are equivalent to Google apps in this phone. They are present, that is Samsung Calendar, Samsung Notes, and Samsung all other Samsung stuff. So part of which can be uninstallable, but I think those Samsung features are also very nifty, so you can use them, and you can also disable the notifications if you want. Now let me talk about another important feature, which is the battery. When I starting my review, I told that this phone is very heavy, 318 grams. So there's a reason behind this weight. This phone packs 7000 mAh battery with huge battery. This is, and it charges very quickly. I think it takes approximately 0 to 100%. It will take around 2 hours to charge completely with the 25-watt Type-C to Type-C charger present inside the box. Nowadays we have to mention this word, that it is the charger is present inside the box, because half of the vendors are removing the charger from the box, but not in this case. You are getting a charger inside the box, and it will help you to charge this mammoth battery very quickly. Now let me talk about another very important aspect. Oh, and the SOT which I am getting approximately is around 9 hours. Means if I use this phone from heavy to moderate usage, you will get approximately with my usage, means I play a lot of games, I watch a lot of social media content. So with my usage, I am getting 8.5 to 9 hours of SOT easily, and charge it will easily last you 1.5 days. You don't need to worry. This is the one sort of power bank. You can also use reverse charging, means if you use any other phone, you can charge via using the reverse charging feature in this mobile. So now let me talk about another important highlighting aspect, which is the camera. This phone has a 4 camera, means quadra camera array, 64 megapixel Sony IMX682 primary sensor with f1.8 aperture. The ultra wide, which is 12 megapixel, have an aperture of f2.2. The other two 5 megapixel depth, 5 megapixel macro, have an aperture of f2.4. Now let me be very honest with you. This phone has a good camera, but don't expect it to be a flagship camera. You can check my camera comparison, which in which I have compared this camera with the Camera King Pixel 4a. There you will find that often Samsung has a tendency to boost up colors, means the colors becomes very saturated in most conditions, which I think Samsung need to fix this with a software update as soon as possible. Otherwise there is also a camera disparity between the primary camera and the ultra wide camera, means you will find the colors are more or less accurate in the primary camera, but when you shift to the ultra wide camera, the color disparity is there, which I think Samsung also needs to fix it very quickly. And other two, 5 megapixel macro and 5 megapixel depth. Regarding the 5 megapixel macro, it is one of the best which I have seen in the industry in this price range, to be very honest. Fantastic macro shots. Over there you can also find the camera comparison that I have clicked lot of macro shots over there, and I will drop down the link. Definitely you can check that camera comparison. And regarding the 5 megapixel depth, it is a normal depth camera for the portrait shots. And regarding the features available, Samsung has packed all the features possible, like single take, portrait mode, night mode in both front camera as well as the rear camera. And in the rear camera you can record up to 4K at 30 fps. There is also facility for 1080p at 30 fps as well as 720p at 30 fps. And you can also do portrait video mode from this rear camera, both from the primary as well as from the ultra wide camera. Now let us talk about the front camera. Front camera is 32 megapixel sensor from Samsung. The rear camera does pixel binning, means by default it will click 16, and there's also a dedicated 64 megapixel for the sharp images. But over here you can directly get 32 megapixel photos. You can shoot up to 4K at 30 fps. There's also facility for 1080p 30 and 720p 30 fps. The photos are decent enough, but I will suggest you to off the beauty filter, because it will look that you are applying a makeup before taking a picture, because it's softening the skin a lot and it also adds an extra white layer. But according to me, the selfies are not the strengths of this mobile. The rear camera pictures are far more better than compared to the selfie camera, which Samsung can fix it if they want with an update. Now let me go about the cons. As of now, I have already mentioned vividly about the pros of this mobile. Like every phone has some cons, this phone also has some cons. Like in the initial part of the video, I mentioned that this is a polycarbonate build, but due to the polycarbonate build also what happens is there are a lot of cracks, so you need to use it with a screen guard. Over here I am using a back cover as well as a screen guard just to protect my mobile, and if you don't, then you might get scratches very easily, because polycarbonate back, what happens is they are not prone to cracks but prone to scratches, so you may get a lot of scratches and it doesn't look very good if your mobile has so many scratches. Now let me go to another very controversial part of this phone, that is the processor. Exynos 9825. In spite of being a flagship processor, we have to accept it's a 2-year-old processor and it doesn't have a 5G capability. Let me divide this into two parts. For consumers who changes the phone in every year, 5G is not a big issue, because to be honest, 5G will take approximately 2 more years to be circulated widely in our country. But for a person who uses a phone for 3 to 4 years, for that person 5G is very important, and for that person this phone is not suitable, because this phone you will not get future proofing, because it supports only 4G and not 5G. So if you are someone who changes every year your phone, then it's very good, you can use this phone and change it once 5G becomes widely available in our country. You can choose the phone according to your choice. But if you are someone who sticks to a phone for 3 to 4 years, this phone is, my dear, not for you. And another thing is, Samsung could have provided 4G plus support, that is carrier aggregation support. What happens is, if you have that carrier aggregation support, the internet connectivity through your mobile data becomes very strong. But unfortunately, though Exynos 9825 has that support of 4G plus, Samsung has not enabled it as of now. As I mentioned in my FAQ video that I give brands some time to enable features with a software update. I was using this phone for a couple of weeks now, and I have got 2 major software updates, but none of that software update improved this feature, means it has not enabled the carrier aggregation support. So I don't think Samsung will enable it. And the last update was that regarding the call quality, and as for my usage, I didn't face any hiccups regarding my call quality. I was using this SIM, as I mentioned, with my primary Airtel SIM, and I didn't have any experience while making calls and using mobile internet through Airtel. Often I use this mobile with Wi-Fi. I have Jio Fiber 5G connection over here in my residence. So this was it. And another most very important feature, which is the camera, which I think Samsung has lagged, because at this price we expect good stuff from Samsung, but I think Samsung needs to work a lot in the camera department. And let's see what happens, because after 2-3 months Samsung can improve the camera, but as of now it is not up to the mark. If you go by the number 64 megapixel, as I always say, don't go by the megapixel count, don't go into the megapixel train like 48, 64, 108, don't go like that. Always find a phone with camera that has a decent megapixel, and that image processing, that is the software processing of the image quality, is the most important, which is where Pixel always gets it right. You can watch that camera comparison, which I will drop the link in the description below, and there you will find with one single lens how Pixel 4 gets every time the image quality absolutely on point. So regarding the conclusion, what you can, that whether you should go for Samsung Galaxy S62 or not. So let me just check all the other competition right now at this price. As I mentioned that I had purchased, this is not a review unit from Samsung, this is a retail unit which I had purchased from Flipkart at a price of 14,398 under Flipkart Smart Upgrade program. So at this price, the major competition of Samsung Galaxy S62 are Realme X7, Mi 10i, Redmi Note 8 Pro Max. So if you ask me, if you want 5G, so right up F62 and Redmi Note 8 Pro goes out of contention, then you can choose Realme X7 as well as that Mi 10i. But if you want to have a polished software experience, if you want to have the latest software in your mobile, and if you want to have a good brand value, then definitely you can look for Samsung Galaxy S62 at this price. This is one hell of a performer, and regarding the performance, you don't have to complain a single penny, because this phone will handle all of the rigorous tasks, right from the games to your social media to your content streaming. This phone will give you a lot of joy. So this was my full in-depth review of Samsung Galaxy S62. If you still have any more questions, feel free to drop down in the comment section below, or you can tag me at Twitter. I will drop my Twitter link in the description below, that is YoduV. So I will catch you guys very soon. Bye bye, take care, and thank you guys again for subscribing to my channel. Always keep subscribing and always keep motivating me. Bye bye.